Hello everybody, I hope you're having a wonderful day. Today I'm going to be talking about the treasure spawn with Misunari and Liatsu. Alrighty, I honestly was about to come out with this as soon as I saw it. Like, I was going to come out with this a couple hours ago, but I got really heated when I accidentally clicked the spawn. As you can see, it's just a double chance ends and the first time half off is gone. I accidentally clicked it while I wasn't looking. Like, I had my phone right next to, I had my hand right next to my phone, like the screen, and I forgot to exit out of the spawn, and I accidentally clicked it, because all those gems that I earned, as you can see right there, are all free to play. So I had 40 free to play gems, and I accidentally used it on the spawn, so I was really upset about that. And yes, I really did accidentally use it on the spawn. I mean, I know for a fact I wasn't going to get them unless I could spawn this multiple times, so I wouldn't be that idiot that would spawn once, and then go for it. Anyways, going on with that, this spawn, let me cut to the chase, is going to be a pay-to-win spawn, so you're going to want lots of gems before you even think about doing this. A couple hundred just for the gear, and you're probably going to want 600 to 900 for one of the monsters. So you're going to need lots of gems for the spawn. This spawn is definitely pay to win, so if you can't do this, don't. I know I said this is one of the monsters I want and I love to have. Like, it's one of the monsters that I need for my guild. But if you can't do the spawn, don't do the spawn. Do not risk the chance. Well, if you want to risk the chance, you can, but I do not recommend risking the chance to get one of these monsters just to be let down and to, after all, not be able to join my guild, because there's been a lot of requests. I mean, a lot of requests to join my guild, and I have to turn down more than to say yes to more, because there's not a lot of slots open. There's really not. There's only 10 slots open for each guild. I wish there was a little more so I can invite a little more of you guys, but there's only 10 slots open, so that kind of sucks. But anyways, let me get to the spawn. The spawn, you're not going to get much from the gear spawn. It has regular SSR rates, so you're gonna be you'll have slightly less rates on the monsters than normal gear itself. So you're not gonna be getting much from the gear spawn, and there's none of the featured weapons as well. So that's there. Jackpot on the other hand, jackpot in the chest. Oh yeah, they have 6 chests to begin with as well, and the jackpot in the chest. Jackpot offers feature gear or better. No medals, feature gear or better. So that is pretty good. You're going to be getting feature gear right off the bat. But they do have the commanders in here. I find this problematic because in the step up spawn, you already have high rates to get the commanders. And the step up spawn is 46 gems per 3 steps. Legitimately 46 gems for 3 sets. It's 46 gems for 3 steps. And as you can see, they already have preset stats. So no matter what, their stats were never random in the first place, I guess. So there's literally no point in this. They're not recommended to look at, they're not recommended to touch, and they're not recommended to go after in this treasure spawn. There are cheaper ways to obtain these elemental monsters. The elemental commanders, not elemental monsters. So really not recommended at all to touch them. But they do offer feature gear better. And throughout the chest alone, they offer 1,500 medals. You get 1,000 medals for 1 and 500 for 1. It's nice because they don't do that stupid thing where they're like, oh, 1,000 medals or 700 for chest 4 and either 500 or 200 for chest 5. No, they just straight up say, here you go, 500 medals, here you go, 1,000 medals, no worries, it's yours, keep it. I really like how they do that, so that's really neat right there, and you're getting 50 to 200 medals per spawn. I think this is where I accidentally clicked it, because I think I was actually practicing and I accidentally clicked it, so that kind of sucks right there. But regardless of so, they do offer really good stuff throughout the chest. They offer good jackpots and they offer a good amount of medals, so that's really good themselves. They don't offer much besides the feature gear, but the feature gear you're going to want multiple of because it's really good gear. And they offer for 3,000. Usually I would say 3,000 is expensive, but since you can get 1,500 medals in 2 chests, and then reroll, get jackpot, and get another 3,000 medals. I mean 1,500 medals. 1,500 plus times 2, not plus 2, I almost said plus 2. 1,500 times 2 equals 3,000. So you only need to get 1,500 medals twice, and you don't even have to get the 500 medals technically speaking, because if you spawn enough, you'll be able to get 500 medals like that, because you're getting 50 to 200 medals per a spawn, keep in mind. So obtaining the gear through the metal exchange is actually not going to be as hard as it actually looks. So that is really good right there. They don't offer much, but what they offer is something you probably want to go after multiple times, or you want different versions of it in the first place. So regardless of variety, they do offer really good stuff that you probably want to get lots of, and they don't offer at a bad price. Plus they have the jackpot, so not really bad rates, not really bad spawn. It's not much of a ripoff for a treasure spawn. Keep in mind, treasure spawns are pay to win, so if you really don't have the money or gems, it's not recommended to touch. Alrighty, so for the gear itself, I'm going to skip over the regular elemental commanders because we all know how those go, and for this spawn, I do not recommend touching them. I don't want to see you touch them unless you accidentally get them in a jackpot or something like that. If you obtain these through the medals, shame on you. I really do not recommend doing it. You're literally throwing 8,000 medals down the drain. That's 2,000 away from a summoning scroll for one of these two beautiful pieces of art and nature and monsters in general. For the monsters, Layla and Misunari, Layla is going to be more useful for player versus enemy. I mean, they're both going to be useful for player versus enemy. They both have their strengths and weaknesses, but Misunari by far is going to be more useful for player versus player. Reason I'm saying that is he casts Frenzy compared to Hero. It may sound weird, like how is Frenzy better than Hero? For the most part, it's not, but for guild battles, per se, you have to cast Hero at the right time because it's going to nullify buffs. It doesn't remove them, it's going to nullify them. So if I'm calling this out correctly, correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, you're going to have to use all those monsters that buff first and then use the monster Liatsu after all that. You're going to want to use Liatsu last, that way you can get the buffs themselves, because if you don't, you're not going to get the buffs. You're only going to have Hero, and you're missing out on so much potential DPS. So that's the first issue I have right here. The second issue is they finally came out with crystal customization. Crystal customization allows you to choose which defense mechanisms you have for your crystal. So if I want to, I can just throw a bunch of stuff on there that you could remove buffs. I can remove the buffs from you. I could throw status alignments at you, or I could increase my crystal's defense. Frenzy is not affected by any of that stuff. If you take a look right here, oops, give me a second. If you take a look in buffs and you go down to Frenzy removes status alignments and debuffs, it nullifies status alignments and debuffs, and all abilities that you use are not affected by damage down and damage reflect abilities. Frenzy goes through all that. Hero doesn't go through all that. Hero instead increases your status by twice as much. It does nullify buffs and debuffs and status alignments, but it also nullifies buffs, so that's the issue. And it doesn't go through damage down and damage reflect abilities. So Frenzy goes through pretty much almost everything the crystal has to throw at you. Hero goes through at least half of or a quarter of everything the crystal can throw at you. That's the difference between Frenzy and buff. That's one of the things that makes Misunari better, is the ability right there itself. The second thing is, again, it increases usually dodge by 30. Ability cooldown time is reduced by 30%, and it has cost recovery speed. On top of it, it has its own little buff on top of all that. It increases all stats by 30%. It's a switchable buff, so you can switch out and people can have this buff as well. It's a field buff. Liatsu's is better by 10% because I believe she increases attack and magic attack by 40%. But with what Misunari's doing, is what I meant to say. He is allowing you to get more usage gauge gains. He is allowing you to attack quicker because you're allowed to use your abilities quicker, and he's give you more cost quicker to actually use your abilities. So overall, he is allowing you to have lots of DPS. He's increasing your action speed by a lot, because again, if you attack, you're going to get an increase in your using gauge, and the fact that he even increases it by 3 and increases how much attacks you're going to be doing for a certain amount of time, it's really strong. It's a really powerful technique, and it's definitely something you could wreck the field with, as far as I can see. Sure, he doesn't do a lot of damage, and Liatsu doesn't do much damage either. Liatsu does do some damage, but regardless, both of them do not do a lot of damage, so that's one downfall to them. But they both are really good monsters regardless. Anyways, Going to the gear itself, the gear is very, very good. The weapons are extremely OP, like they're really, really good. The armor itself is really good. What they do, what makes them exclusive, besides the fact that they're 33 cost, is the weapons have this skill called Art of Attack, and it has a chance to massively increase physical and magical damage taken when using an ability and fill your using gauge by 3. Which is kind of weird for the relic. I mean, I guess the relic's going to be used for, what was the class called? Berserkers. Berserkers. I guess the relic can be used for Berserkers. Not really going to be used for Clerics, though. But anyways, these weapons are really, really strong because of that fact. That they increase usage gauge by 3 per each proc rate. Usage makes the world go around. So if you can increase usage a lot more than you already can, it is super essential, especially for ranked guild battles. If you can pop unison a lot quicker than the enemy team, you're probably going to win. You are honestly probably going to win. And then here's the 33 cost armors. Art of physical damage down, chance to massively reduce physical damage taken, and fill your usage gauge by 5. Really good ability as well. I'd recommend putting them on if you can. Imagine having a proc rate, and whenever it procs, filling your usage gauge by 5. That is really strong, and it is really OP. So even though they're cost 33 armors, and it's just art of physical damage down, not just art damage down, still really good armors. With that being said, I hope this helped, and I will see you in the next video. This is the AzureWrath. I'm out. Peace.